Dear loving children, welcome to the online class. Civics Chapter 3, Electoral Politics. I hope you are enjoying your Onam holidays. Most of you have done your pre-midterm exam very well. So I want that all the students should give a response, a prompt response should be given. Once a lesson is complete, you should send the notes to me through my WhatsApp number. Some are doing it regularly, systematically. Some students are lazy and sometimes they are forgetful. So I want all the students should do your work systematically and regularly. Student means a student who studies with confidence, and a student who is thoughtful, understanding, enthusiastic, devoted, disciplined. So these are some of the qualities of students. So all the students should study the lessons well, read the chapter well, and send the notes to me, and attempt exams. You should not skip any exams. So let us come to this chapter, Electoral Politics. In the previous chapter we studied about what is democracy. We said democracy is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Democracy is a form of government in which people choose their representatives. Now in this chapter we are going to understand how elections help in the democratic process. We know that we cannot rule our country directly by the people. Direct democracy is not possible. Now we are having indirect democracy. So we elect our representatives, whether it is for Lok Sabha, whether it is for Niyama Sabha or state legislative assemblies. We conduct elections, and the elections are and from elections we select our representatives, and the party which gets majority, they form the government. In this chapter we are going to understand how elections are held, whether elections are democratic, why there is a need for elections, and how whether the elections are free and fair, what is the role of the election commission, and what are the malpractices introduced by the political parties, or what is the election process from the earmarking of constituencies till polling and counting of votes and declaration of results, etc. So let us come to the first question. Why do we need elections? We need elections because people can choose their representatives to make laws for them. People can choose who will form the government and take major decisions. So we need elections because people can choose their representatives to make laws for them. We can choose our representatives. People can choose who will form the government and take major decisions. People can choose the party whose policies will guide the government and lawmaking. During elections, the people can choose which party will come to power and which party will not come to power. So the party which gets a majority, or if they don't get majority, they form a government with the help of support of other parties. So I hope you understood why we need elections. We need elections because only through elections only we can choose our representatives to make laws for the people. People can choose who will form the government, whether UPA will form the government or NDA will form the government, whether LDF will form the government or whether UDF will form the government. That only will be decided only through elections. Now let us come to the second question. What makes an election democratic? Everyone should be able to choose. This means that all should have one vote and every vote should have equal value. Now all should have one vote and every vote should have an equal value. Point number 2, parties and candidates should be free to contest elections and should offer some real choice to the voters. Parties and candidates should be free to contest elections and should offer some real choice to the voters. So they should be free to contest elections and they offer some real choice to the voters. Voters can decide which party they want to come to power. Elections should be held regularly after every few years. Elections should be held regularly after every few years. So there is another one. Elections should be held regularly after every few years. Candidates preferred by the people should get elected. Candidates preferred by the people should get elected. So those candidates who are liked by the people should get elected. Elections should be conducted in a free and fair manner. So election should be conducted in a free and fair manner. So that makes an election democratic. Election should be held regularly after a period of 5 years. Normally elections are held after 5 years. And the candidates preferred by the people should get elected. Election should be conducted in a free and fair manner without any malpractices or both capturing, rigging. Okay, there is names are removed from the voters list and all that. You have seen in how some of the countries make how elections are held. Next we come to the third question. Describe how elections are held in India. Our country is divided into various constituencies for Lok Sabha and Assembly elections in the states. First of all, our country is divided into various constituencies for Lok Sabha elections and for state assembly elections in the states. So, first of all, the country is divided into constituencies, either for Lok Sabha elections or for state assembly elections in the states. Second point, a list of those who are eligible for voting is prepared much before the elections. A list of those who are eligible for voting. In India, we know that all those who are reached age of 18 and above, they are given the right to vote. A voters list is prepared, or we call it electoral roll, or voters list is prepared by the election commission. We have separate voters list for Lok Sabha elections and there is separate voters list for state assembly elections. Now the government is thinking about having one list for the entire elections for Lok Sabha or whether it is for state legislative assembly elections. Third point, then the different candidates file their nomination papers for elections. So the party candidates can file their nomination papers for elections. A day is fixed by the election commission for filing of nomination papers. Then there is a scrutiny of nomination papers. The nomination papers will be scrutinized by the election commission or the concerned authorities, and some nomination papers, if they are not filled correctly, they may be rejected. And finally, the ballot papers are printed. The ballot papers are printed for elections. Then the candidates can start their campaigns through meetings, speeches, posters, and house-to-house canvassing. Then the campaigns start. The election campaigns start either through meetings. They can have meetings in various cities and various places. Then there are election speeches are made by national leaders and other leaders. Then we can also start our campaign through posters. Posters can be pasted along the cities and other places. Posters of the candidate with posters of other senior leaders. Then the last one is house-to-house canvassing. They go from house to house and house-to-house canvassing. You go and request people to vote for you. That is the last step. House-to-house canvassing. The candidate or their representatives will go from house to house and request people to vote for you. The next step is the polling of votes, counting of votes, and declaration of results by the election commission. Polling of votes, counting of votes, and declaration of results by the election commission. So once the canvassing is over, election campaign is over, then day is fixed for polling of votes. Both will be decided. The voters will be given a particular booth for voting, and the voting will start in the morning till up to maybe by 6 o'clock, whatever is the time given by the election commission. A polling of votes will be done. People can go with their voters identity card and you stand in line. And nowadays we don't have the ballot papers. We have mostly EVM, electronic voting machines are there. You go and press the button and the voting will be registered. Then after the elections, after the voting is done, then a day is fixed for counting of votes. Elections are not held all together sometimes. It is held face by face. So after all the elections are over in that state or in the entire country, then the counting of votes are done, then result is declared by the election commission. So that is the process. So once again we can understand what is the process. First, constituencies are fixed. Constituencies we call it Niyojaga Mandalam. Okay, constituencies are fixed. Then voters list is prepared. Filing a nomination papers and ballot papers are printed. Then election campaigns are there. Then the last one, polling of votes, counting of votes, and a declaration of results by the election commission. Let us come to the next question. Why some constituencies are reserved for weaker sections? Weaker sections means scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, or we call it OBC. Our constitution entitles every citizen to elect their representatives. The constitution makers were worried that in an open electoral competition, the weaker sections may not get a chance to get elected. That was their fear. In an open electoral competition, the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, they may not get a chance to get elected. They may not be selected as candidates, and they may not be elected. They may not have the required education, resources means money, and contacts to contest and win elections. So they don't have the required education, the qualification and resources, enough money, and contact to contest and win elections. The fourth point, those who are rich and powerful may prevent them from winning elections. Those people who are rich and powerful, they may prevent them from winning elections. They may not help them to win elections. The scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other backward classes. So if they don't get elected to Lok Sabha or state legislative assembly elections, or local bodies, panchayat or urban local bodies, municipalities, municipal corporations, that would make our democracy less representative and less democratic. Democratic means everybody gets a chance to participate in elections, and people have the right to choose their representatives, and there should be a representation of all kinds of people. Otherwise, they will always remain backward. Scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes will remain always backward. That is the reason why seats are reserved for them. So, some seats are reserved for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. At present, 84 seats are reserved for scheduled castes, and 47 seats are reserved for scheduled tribes. So, out of 543 seats, 84 seats are reserved for scheduled castes, and 47 seats are reserved for scheduled tribes. Only those people belonging to these categories, scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, only can stand as candidates from these constituencies, which are reserved for them. In many states, seats in rural and urban local bodies are now reserved for other backward classes also. Many states. In the rural means panchayat elections, and urban local bodies means municipalities elections. Seats are reserved for backward classes also, OBC people. Similarly, 1/3 seats are reserved for women in the local bodies. 1/3 seats are reserved for women in the local bodies. And Kerala, we can feel proud. I think at least 50% seats are reserved for women in the Panchayat Raj system, in the local self-government, local self-governments. Now let us come to the fifth question. Enlist some of the unfair practices in our election system. First one, we told you while discussing about the election process. First, reservation of how constituencies are earmarked. Second one is voters list is prepared. In the voters list, inclusion of wrong names. Wrong names are sometimes included, and exclusion means removal of names in the voters list. Those who are really eligible for vote, their names are purposely removed from the voters list due to some reason or the other. That is why all the citizens who are reached age of 18 and above, they should see that their names are there in the voters list. And now online we can register through the election commission's website, and make sure that your name is there in the voters list. Second one, misuse of government facilities like government vehicles, government buildings, and officials by the ruling party for winning elections. Third point, excessive use of money by rich and candidates and big parties. Excessive use of money. They spend a lot of money to win elections. They buy the voters. Big parties. So people with low money, they may lag behind. They may not be successful. The misuse of government facilities, we have seen how in Zimbabwe, how they have done, how in Mexico, how they used to win elections with the help of government employees. So from that, you understand better. Excessive use of money by rich candidates and big parties. Distribution of liquor, money, sari, blanket, etc. to the voters to get the vote of the people. Then use of threat to the voters. Some places, they threaten the voters not to go for voting. Or they ask people to vote for a particular candidate or particular party only. They threaten the voters. So they try to threaten them, intimidate them. These are some tricks used by some parties in some parts of our country. The rigging of votes and booth capturing. They may threaten officials. They may use some unfair means, booth capturing. They take full control of the booth. They don't allow other agents to sit there. All parties' agents can sit in the booth, so they don't allow them to sit there. They threaten them, and they don't allow other people to put vote, and they may put the votes in place of other people. All kinds of malpractice are being done by some political parties to win elections. What are some of the successful slogans given by political parties? The Congress party led by Indira Gandhi gave the slogan of Garibi Hatao, remove poverty in the Lok Sabha elections in 1971. And she won the elections. Second one, Save Democracy was a slogan given by Janata Party in the election of 1977 under the leadership of Jayaprakash Narayanan. So Jayaprakash Narayanan was the leader of Janata Dal Party. Janata Party in 1977. Save Democracy was a slogan given by that party. The left front used the slogan of land to the tiller. The land should be given to the person who is tilling the land. Tilling means cultivating in West Bengal in 1977 in the assembly elections. In Haryana, Chaudhary Devilal gave the slogan Nyaya Yuddha, means struggle for justice, to win elections in 1987. So 1987, Devilal's party, Lokdal, won the elections. Before that, Congress was ruling. Congress lost elections because people were not happy with the performance of the Congress. So from this question we can understand how some slogans, political slogans, help parties to win elections. So I want all of you to write down these questions, to learn these questions, read the chapter one or two times, and write the exam. You should not skip your exams. Okay.